With health and safety protocols, like wearing a mask and social distancing, Baldwin customers were able to focus a little less on the fear of COVID-19 and a little more on letting the haunt do the job of scaring. Usually, Rahman is cheering on the Illini from his seats in Orange Crush. On Sunday, though, he took his fandom to the Chrysler Center. How easy is it to sign up for Campus Recs intramurals? About as easy as a free throw. Over 3,000 cars were on display on Saturday for the Champaign community, something Mike Kuhn, Director of Sports, Events, and Film for Visit Champaign County, says will create an economic boom.
Yes.
The Illinois men's tennis team is back at Atkins Tennis Center as the squad kicked off official practice this week. To finish last season, they beat Ohio State to become the Big Ten champions. Like in all college sports, though, seniors graduate and move on. But this leaves room for new leaders to emerge.
Knowing what we were capable of and what we accomplished, and that just because, we lost a lot of guys that played a huge role in that, we learned a lot from them, and we know that we have tons of guys that are ready to step up and create kind of the same history.
It shows everyone that, if I can do it, you can do it too. And it's big shoes to fill with losing great leaders like those guys, but I wear a size 15, so I think I can fit them.
Kenyatte may be looking to fill some shoes, but head coach Brad Dancer doesn't need to step into any. He just looks to continue his very successful, near 2-decade-long Illini coaching career.
As you guys are getting back to practice, what's kind of been the thing that's hit you most as a coach over this short week so far?
That we got a lot of work to do. We can just see that and again, it's a little bit better as the day progressed here, but early on we were just, balls are just flying all over the place. There's no point construction, and so really we tactically is an area we have to improve significantly.
Obviously at the Big Ten championships, you're facing Ohio State. This is a team that, has given you guys struggles in the last few tournaments. Zeke Clark wins that. For you, what does that feel like?
I didn't feel anything but relief for those seniors. It was so much pent-up energy. They'd done so many great things that class had, but they hadn't beaten Ohio State. They hadn't won a Big Ten title yet, and so to win the regular season and then win the tournament championship, it was just a culmination. And then to have those guys all out there doing it and being a part of it, it was just, it was magical, and not necessarily for me. It was magical for them, and it just made me. I just broke down. I was crying and everything else because it was just It was a pretty surreal and cool moment.
Gatorade Bass may be the payoff for a great team, but to get there is an everyday process.
When I think about you making a big jump in your game, it's this right here. So instead of being here like this, it's here all the way through, and the ball carries to the middle of the court and goes in. And it's that subtle little difference.
Those subtle differences come in coaching too. Dancer teaches more than the fundamentals. He tells me that he tries to instill a certain confidence into his players.
I know exactly what I'm doing out here. And when you start acting like that and talking like that, then all of a sudden people feel your presence out there and they feel your game. Yeah. If you don't want to do that, you're in the wrong program. Yeah.
Almost 2 decades now coaching here at Illinois. It's a long time. Don't want to make you feel old, but a few Big Ten championships. How do you continue to build on that legacy, and where do you want to go next for this team this year?
Yeah, coaching never feels good enough, never feels like enough. There's only one team at the end of the year that's happy, and that's the team that wins it all. And so, there's always something to push for. And again, with our program, it's a lot about the personal growth and the personal milestones for guys. So we're trying to have each one of our guys always shooting for something greater and just keep progressing and so forth.
From the Atkins Tennis Center in Champaign, Brendyn Jones, good morning, Illini. Baldwin Asylum Haunted Attractions is one of an estimated 4,000 paid haunted attractions around the United States. With Halloween being one of the country's most popular holidays, the haunt industry has been estimated in the past to gross as much as $300 million per year. Just because the industry brings in all that money doesn't mean that haunted attractions are an easy way to make a profit. In fact, most owners struggle to make a good profit. One thing is for sure, opening a successful haunted house requires one thing.
You better start with capital. So depending on how much capital you have is how much of a splash you're going to make. All sorts of places.
That is Mark Dams, the owner of Baldwin Asylum. He started this haunt almost a decade ago and hasn't seen much of a profit. This is because of the amount of work that goes into creating and maintaining a good haunt experience. Most of the money the haunt gains goes right back into it with things like props, some of which are made by the Baldwin staff. Mark thinks being located in Rantoul helps with business, though.
where I started in Rantoul, yes, there's haunted houses around here, but we were all on kind of the same level. Small budget, doing what we can, building our own props, and kind of building up from there.
Promotion for the haunt comes in many different forms. One of those are online review sites that rate different haunt experiences. That's where the Scare Factor comes in. The Scare Factor is a national online blog that has a haunt directory and posts reviews about haunted attractions. Mario Morales covers the Chicago and Illinois area for the site, and he gets that each haunt experience can be unique for every single person.
You know, we get asked all the time, like, oh, which is like the most scary? You know, it's like, well, what are you into? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like a general question. Like, you know, scary for you might be scary for me, you know, so are different, you know.
To review the different haunts, the Scare Factor has a complex grading system, which takes into account things like the cast, costumes, customer service, and overall scare factor of each haunt. What did Baldwin get on the scale this season? A 9.12, currently ranking it in the top 15 haunted attractions in the nation, according to the site. However, barriers came in for the haunt season last year as COVID swept through the nation, and as the national focus shifted from the holidays to health. Baldwin was able to remain open because of the work it put in to make the experience as COVID safe as possible.
We were fighting tooth and nail just to be open the week before we opened. Champaign County Health Department, we got them to come in and they walked through it and had they said, yeah, we got nothing, go for it. Do what you want to do what you need to do. Thank you for making it safe.
With health and safety protocols, like wearing a mask and social distancing, Baldwin customers were able to focus a little less on the fear of COVID-19 and a little more on letting the haunt do the job of scaring.
Now, with COVID-19 restrictions in place and the Halloween season in full swing, Baldwin looks to get back on track, and Dams tells me what visitors can expect this year.
The changes that we did make, they'll notice, and the energy, you know, it's kind of back to what it was.
Breaking into the haunted house industry always has some risk around it, but risk and fear, they go hand in hand.
Some of the best technology at the University of Illinois lives at the Idea Lab, which is located in the basement of Granger Library. Opened back in 2016, the Idea Lab is a place where the library can provide collaboration, entrepreneurial, and innovation spaces and services for students. The lab finished renovations last summer and hosted an open house on Tuesday to showcase the space as students are coming back this semester, with the pandemic concerns lessening. The Idea Lab has 3D printing and virtual reality that students can use for studies and recreation. Bill Michaud is the head of the Granger Library, and he sees the Idea Lab as a place where libraries can take the next step.
Librarianship, they've evolved to accommodate or to provide these enhanced services. It's the evolution of libraries.
During the open house, he was showing off the Idea Lab's visualization wall, VisWall for short. It is an 8K wall that has 33 million pixels that can be used simultaneously. Students can reserve space for the VisWall, and it can be used for everything from watching movies to data analysis. A large part of the identity of the Idea Lab is the student input. The registered student organization, VR Club, meets at the Idea Lab on Fridays and is focused on building a collaborative environment. The club not only plays with virtual reality, but also teaches people how to develop with VR, including different software and applications.
We just have like an awesome community here, and it's really, you know, you can't force that. It just as VR software and hardware has sort of been growing and developing, it's just natural that people are getting excited about it and seeing, you know, the possibilities and actually experiencing the possibilities. Like, that's going to get people excited.
This all in an attempt to develop the university's VR capabilities.
The University of Illinois wants to be a leader in virtual reality technologies. We want to be a key player here in the Granger Library. We want the Idea Lab to be a key element, a crucial element in this development work.
The Idea Lab is open Mondays through Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Fridays from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.